to Cleveland, Ohio. Skating is cool, and you can catch me out here, dude!
Yeah, Chris.
Kristian Svitak. Tony Hawk ain't here in your neighborhood sliding the rail. Kristian Svitak.
Hello, I'm Kristian Svitak. My name is Kristian Svitak. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
You see the steel mills, you see the skyline right there. Super blue collar. The Cleveland steel mills. This is like the heart of Cleveland to me. This is the guts of it. My grandfather worked here, other family members worked here. A lot of friends of mine have worked here over the years. Before your eye hits the skyscrapers downtown Cleveland, your eye hits those smokestacks first. This is what I was looking at every day.
Growing up here in Cleveland is the hugest influence on who I am.
My formative years of being a teenager skateboarding, Cleveland has played such an influence on me. It's the only thing I knew. I didn't know anything else. We didn't have skate parks. We didn't have training grounds. Like, all we had was street. I always wanted to be out. I wanted to be exploring with my friends. Taught me how to navigate these neighborhoods, the terrain. From the time I was a teenager, I was out on the streets every single day and every single night. We're just on the quest for new spots. Being out skating on the streets, I've covered a lot of ground over all these years, all around greater Cleveland.
Ohio in general has always had this huge skateboarding population, almost second to what California is. You think of California, then you think, well, where else is skateboarding popular? You could go on New York and that kind of stuff.
Growing up, skating the streets of downtown Cleveland so much, I feel like I have so much history invested into those streets.
Growing up in the Cleveland area, backbone of industry, and just drive around so many places and you could see the despair. Blue collar, tough jobs, many struggling neighborhoods, and then you throw 5-6 months of gray, wet, dreary weather on top of it. It just can give you that really hopeless feeling. It's tough, and I respect that toughness. It's a great place, but it's a tough place. At the same time, I feel it also gives people this extra strength. They can just harness it the right way, and some people have. One thing that I knew I had, and I give so much credit to Cleveland, is that work ethic. You work hard, you don't complain, scrape out any little bit of skill or talent I might have on a skateboard and just hammer at it.
Sprained my ankle. I'm done.
In the late 80s, the early 90s, and having my interests, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for me. Your options in life, at least for someone like me, are so limited. I wasn't a kid that was going on to college. I worked blue-collar jobs in a no-nonsense city.
Chris Svitak, yeah! Represent!
Really, it was just, yeah, we're gonna skate as much as we can and have as much fun as we can.
That's how you get girls, man. Right there.
The thought of being a pro skater back then, that wasn't a reality.
Even being a sponsored skateboarder, you didn't even think about it. It just wasn't a thing. For someone like me or my buddies back in Cleveland, it may as well be like living on the moon in comparison to growing up in California near the skateboard industry. It felt next to impossible to make contact with anybody because this was before the internet, before the cell phones. I wasn't born into sponsored skateboarding. You were literally on your own, and there were no other examples around us of people that were taking skating to another level or have had any other success. The idea of the sponsor me tape, if I send it to some companies, maybe someone will send me a board. And the big one that hit me back was Invisible Skateboards, and it was Laban Fidius. He was the one that really opened that door for me. That's ultimately what led me to move to California.
Kristian Svitak.
You guys rode for Black Label together, correct?
Yeah. The way I met him, I was doing a demo with Matt Hensley. Matt Hensley and I got on Black Label around the same time, and Kristian skated up to me and he goes, "Hey, can I skate with you guys?" He had an energy about him, like,
Yes, dude.
you know, you meet skaters and you just know, like, oh, there's something different about this guy. He skated and he skated great, and after the demo, he gave me a VHS tape, and it was like 98. There was a clip in there, 50/50s, and slams into a wall. He just slams right into the wall. And so I showed the tape to John Lucero, and he goes, oh, you gotta rewind that. And he goes, he just skated right into the wall. He goes, this guy's hot. This guy's hot. I was like, we gotta put him on the team, man. He's like, yeah, he's on the team, you know?
Amazing.
It was
The passion.
the skating into the wall with everything else, and that's something that really speaks to me, that I always loved about him. I thought he was special.
Ended up getting on Black Label, and so once that happened, the pro skateboarding journey started, summer of '99. And I was on a team with a lot of guys that were my favorite skaters. I loved all these guys. And even before the Label Kills video came out, we were blowing up. We were huge, selling a lot of skateboards. As a rookie pro on this like kind of blue collar type of company, immediately they were just sending me all around the world and skating with the best skateboarders in the world. It was a lot that all happened really, really fast. When I was younger, in my 20s, I was a better Evel Knievel skater, you know, doing these big handrails and gaps, like the big stunts that can put you in the hospital.
Dude, I just got fucked up.
I didn't get into skateboarding to be Evel Knievel. That came later with the changes of skateboarding and popularity and all that stuff. And also just wanting to push yourself physically as far as you can. See that? We're in my basement now at my house in Ohio outside Cleveland. From turning pro in '99 to right now, I've had 80 pro models. They're all up on the walls. That was the first one I ever had, and it was pretty bonkers to see my name on a board. It goes through Black Label, and then we get into the 1031 days. This has probably been one of my favorites in my whole career, is the Skate Rat since '88. We were just trying to go for like something that kind of had that old like 80s Powell Peralta vibe. For the Crew cover, Wall Ride, this was my Trans World cover. As soon as I made it on the map and made it in a magazine, I've always just had Cleveland with me, like always trying to promote Cleveland.
You always shine the light right back to this area. I know I appreciated it, and I know I can speak for everyone else. I know everybody else appreciated it as well.
You might recognize the drummer. Yeah, it's Kristian Svitak, pro skater.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Heartache! Well, mommy, what's wrong with me? She said I'm not like the other kids, can't you see?
I mean, I've lived in San Diego for 25 years, and I love San Diego. I love California as well, but I've never claimed it. I've lived in California longer than I actually have ever lived in Cleveland now. I love California, but I love Cleveland. I've always loved living in California. I've always loved skateboarding in California. I have lots of video footage and videos from over the years in California and other places all around the world. But the place that I always felt my skateboarding connected with was Cleveland.
How's that helmet look? Give him a hand for that helmet. Yeah!
The Browns, I know you get the football team back.
Yeah.
But they're skateboarding always.
That's right. That's right.
You know, you spoke up for Cleveland, and you did everybody right, and I know they're stoked for you.
Hometown favorite, Kristian Svitak.
Now, he's also a skater that spends a lot of time on the streets, doesn't really use transitions.
Yeah,
all the way to flat, just like he likes it. No tranny, no landing ramps. Let's just drop all the way to the cement.
Definitely seeing the pure street influence there.
You're going to see this guy a lot more on the course of television, videos, and magazines.
There's always been that common theme with my boards, like Cleveland here, Cleveland there, Black Ohio over here, Ohio State flag, Ohio here. I've always carried that theme through all my board graphics, slipping in Cleveland or the state of Ohio. This is actually downtown Cleveland. This is on Euclid Avenue. There's a church down on Euclid Avenue. Shot that photo and it made it on the cover. This is one I've always been really happy about. The old CSU handrail. This is the site of the big CSU handrail. There used to be a double rail that went straight down the middle of these stairs, square. No one had ever done it, and I did it first in 1996. It was a big deal for me and my friends when I jumped on that thing in 96 and did it. And then I moved out to California and I came back in town in the summer of 1999. I was riding for Black Label. I came through on a Thrasher trip. We were shooting an Ohio article. It was like me, Chad Knight, Dave Coyne, and Scott Pizzell. We were all sponsored skaters from the state of Ohio. I did it again, and that's really the footage that everyone has seen in my part in Label Kills. And then Mike Burnett from Thrasher shot the photo of it and ended up becoming the content spread for Thrasher magazine. They ripped out the old rails, they redid it, they put in these silver round ones. And so this rail right here is the one that our buddy Cyril Jackson just flew in from LA to do. He's a Cleveland kid, but he lives in LA now and got the backside 50-50 down this. It's high, it's round, it's gnarly. Super cool that he did it.
He had his own board company. He was doing 1031.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He brought up so many skaters. He'd gone on so many tours. And that's a solid guy.
Yeah. Never met him. Been a fan forever. Yeah. Love Kristian.
So I really respect him.
That's amazing.
I just wanted to help out local skaters from Cleveland or Ohio at that. So of course, if there's any skateboarders that are talented and working hard and trying to break out of Cleveland, if I had a way, I was going to help them. For 9 years of my life, did 1031 skateboards. Anytime my sponsors wanted to film like a video and they wanted me to have a part or whatever, I'd always get them to buy me a plane ticket and come back here. The majority of all my footage over the years and video parts, I'd say has been filmed here in Cleveland. When sponsors were throwing a lot of money around, I'd always be calling them up for a plane ticket, fly me back to Cleveland, fly a filmer back with me, fly a photographer back with me. People were always excited to get out of California, come to Cleveland. They always wanted to see like where I was from and see all my weird spots. We filmed my whole Thrasher part in Cleveland. Back heel up this Euro gap, nose grind. This was Beechwood. Oh man, this is another one I'm so psyched on. This is downtown Cleveland at the National City building. I ollied the whole double set with the gate closed. All this footage was in blackout. This is Case Western Reserve University. Actually, this has always been one of my favorite heel flips I've ever done. There's the front feeble at Manaway, Crestwood High. This is Manaway Pool right here. Here's Akron right here, the old White Snake rail. Smith 180 out. Akron, it's almost a part of Cleveland. It's like this other little sub-city just south of Cleveland. Started skating Central Howard in 1991. It's just an iconic spot. And if you look at that spot, I mean, it had everything. There was stairs and a curb and ledges and a bank, and we'd spend all day there skating. It was a constant flow of skaters coming and going. Remember me and my buddy, we used to ollie a lot of gaps, and we used to sit at the top of Central Howard and just think like, man, that would be like the ultimate gap. And in my opinion, whatever you're gonna do over Central Howard, like to make it the real deal, you gotta do the flat gap and the chain. Our friend Doug Radefeld did a kickflip over the chain into the bank. And that's in Transworld, man. And there's a sequence of it. I believe it was 96, the first time I tried ollieing Central Howard. I went for it a handful of times and the slams were just too brutal. And then I went back again and then I did it. I made it for the first time. I remember just thinking like, oh my God, like I can't believe I did that.
You weren't even living in California. You were still living here.
I was still here fighting my way.
Yeah.
I was all in Central Howard trying to like make my mark, right?
You took it up another level there. That's kind of what launched you into where you wanted to go.
I ollied the bank 97 or something like that. And then I was filming for Label Kills in 2000. I'm living in California by now. I'm riding for Black Label. I'm pro for Black Label. I was back visiting my parents. I have Dave Swift in Cleveland right now. Photographer for Transworld, went on to the Skateboard mag, been around forever. And I was like, I'm going to Central. We're going to get a proper photo of Central.
Yes.
So I went and did it again in the year 2000, got the photo with Dave Swift. That went on to be a spread in Transworld, and then the footage from that ollie went into Label Kills.
You were wanting to shine that light back on this area. I just think that that's really pivotal in your history. The connection a lot of us have with that spot is huge. I could argue that that spot in its prime, it's past its prime now, was probably one of the best skate spots in the country.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
When the ledges were perfect, like even when they were rounded still, there was not a bank like that. And so that shaped you into who you are today.
It means a lot to me.
I think that spot means a lot to everybody in this area. Like that was our EMB, that was our Brooklyn Banks. That was the Midwest spot, you know?
We're in Garfield Heights. I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland. This is where I grew up right here, the big tree on the front lawn. My mom's still there, that's it.
She's super nice, man.
Skating out in front of this house, bombing this hill. For growing up where I did, I had a lot of stuff like right out my parents' door. I had little hits everywhere. These curbs used to be so much better, these black asphalt curbs. You do blunt side transfers. South High, man, did one of my favorite gaps I ever did. That flat rail right there, I did a rail slide across it and down. I always look at that handrail and think about how much awesome skating went down on it. My first parking blocks I ever slid used to be right here. This is my favorite spot in the world. When I was a kid, this used to be all nice, fresh blacktop. There used to be a chain link fence on top of the bank, and then at some point, they tore down the fence and put up a guardrail. If I could skate one place for the rest of my life, this would be it. This is my collection of every board I've ever ridden since I started skateboarding. All the way up to current day, 425. I number every one, I write the date that I've taken the board apart, and then if there was anything significant that I did on that board, I write that on there. For example, this is number 181. I took this apart on December 1st, 2000, Big Brother interview. So I was currently shooting photos for my Big Brother Pro interview on this board. This is the Justice Center, downtown Cleveland, Ohio. You could clearly die skating this very easily. You look over the side there, that's where you can definitely die. I did it a few times, and the first time I did it was 97, 98. When I look at this drop over here, I'm like, what was I thinking? It was a pretty high ledge, but it just seemed perfect to me. It was like you ollie up, perfect runway, and then ollie this gap and land and go down this drop in. There's one where I hang up. Like I hang up here and I get pitched all the way down to the flat, and I bear hug the ledge. We only had one camera, so I filmed one from over here. And we filmed one from here so you could see the pit. I got a spread in Transworld out of it. One thing that was cool, we were all in town for a Vans Triple Crown contest in the early 2000s, and Bob Burnquist comes up to me. And he's like, Svitak, oh my God, that's so crazy. We couldn't believe you did that. And like Bob was just so like blown away that I did that. And I was like, all right, thanks Bob, you know. I'm psyched I did it. I'm glad I don't ever have to try that again. There's a lot of things that come along with being a pro skateboarder. My video parts aren't important. The tricks I've done aren't important. The board graphics, it's all cool, but I was never like the biggest pro skateboarder. I have friends that have gone on to do bigger, more exciting things. But the thing that is the most important to me is just, it's the roots and the journey. I cherish it so much just because of where I came from, what I thought my options were in life. Just seemed like having a life and making all that happen where I'm from just seemed so unobtainable. If that kid from Garfield Heights carved out a little niche from riding a skateboard, you know, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
That lot right there has a lot of significance. I met Team Insanity in the summer of '88. They were the guys that turned me on to the whole culture of skateboarding and punk rock. They asked me if I wanted to go skate, and they took me down here to this church. And that's where I saw the first real skating go down. I couldn't even get my head wrapped around what I was seeing. They taught me how to do a boneless right there, and they taught me how to do a street plant. And then that's when they turned to me and they asked me if I wanted to be on Team Insanity. And it was on. It was on, man. It just opened the floodgates.
You know, the thing about Kristian is, even today when you skate with him, you are skating with 14-year-old Kristian who loves skateboarding.
Right.
You know, it just emanates from him.
This is my daughter's bedroom, so they always know I'm watching.
My daughter's put a lot of things in perspective for me. At 50 years old, I pay very close attention to always harnessing all those things that I gravitated to when I was 13 years old and hang on to that, because it's really easy to lose that. And I feel that that can pertain to so many different things in your life as you get older. I want to be reminded of what that felt like to be skateboarding when I was 14 years old.
Now, beyond this,
Okay.
people who can't read, skateboards
I can read that.
and rollerblades are prohibited.
Yeah.
Don't you care?
To an extent.
You're fucking grown men, you ain't fucking kids. You've probably been skating since I was old enough to fucking pee out of my diaper.
We'll seriously be out of here
I'm
at 5.
serious that if you don't leave, I'll call the police. I'm trying to be nice about
Can we
it.
just get 5 more minutes?
I can't do it. I will call the police right now. I'm trying to be nice about it. Now I'm not being nice. Get the fuck out of here.
I just wanted to sneak one in, that's all.
Get the fuck out of here now.
I mean, as long as you can physically push and stuff, you think you'll keep doing it?
Absolutely.
I heard about